All right, so Yeti got me again. About 2 weeks ago, they came out with the new Yeti Roadie 32, and I had to have one. I bought one probably within about an hour of getting the email saying, hey, this cooler's coming out today, and sucker, I got hooked again. So in the Yeti Roadie lineup, you've got a 24, which is obviously the smallest one, and then you jump all the way up to a 48, and then you've got the 60, the real big boy. And there's kind of nothing in the middle, so this one's going to fit really nicely in the middle of the Yeti Roadie lineup. So I'm going to walk you guys through all of the features on the new 24 and all that, but I want to do something a little bit different and not just show you this cooler because I am kind of a Yeti collector, or Yeti, I don't know, Yeti's got me hooked. So I love their stuff, and I've got a 24, and I've also got a 48. So I'm going to be able to show you guys the 24, the 32, and the 48 side by side. So I'm going to stop talking because I got a lot to say about these coolers, and I really like this one. So let's put all three side by side. Let's get into it. All right, so here's all three coolers together, and what a great way to look at them. And you can tell from the 24 to the 48. The 48's over here, obviously, and the 24 is that one. The 32 is in the middle. From the 24 to the 48, this 32 is really going to kind of fill a void that Yeti had in this lineup. But just looking at them here, obviously the 48 is going to be a much bigger, beefier cooler. It's much more square in shape, while these are a little bit more rectangular. Certainly the 32 is more rectangular. But the 32 compared to the 24, it's really not that much taller. It's a little bit taller. Hopefully that's going to come out in the video. You can see that, but obviously it gets its extra capacity from its length. So the 24 comes in, from a weight perspective, comes in at 13 pounds empty. It's really light. Certainly when it's empty, it's really light, and it's really not that bad when it's full. You do get that webbing, that strap to carry it around with. The 32 comes in at 24 pounds, and then the 48 is 28 pounds. So there's really only a 4-pound difference between roughly 4-pound difference between the 32 and the 48. So all three coolers have the new style latches on them, and I've had some experience with these now, and I just love these latches. They used to make the T-Rex latches, and they still do on the Tundras, but these are just effortless to open, even on the brand new cooler, thinking these are going to be a little stiff, and they just pop right open. So love the latches, and all three of the coolers have the latches. So let's talk about price points, because obviously these are Yeti coolers, and they're not cheap. And they're not for everybody, and I'm not saying run out and buy one. I'm saying they last a long time, and they're great quality, and they do what they say they're going to do. So they come at a price point, and Yeti just has a kind of a brand reputation, and I like it, and I've been a big fan of Yeti for many years. But anyway, so you got your 24. That's going to come in at $250, and then for more capacity and the handle and the wheels, the 32 comes in at $350, and that's a $100 difference. But you're getting a lot more cooler, but that's a little bit of a steep entry point. I was kind of thinking when I saw this cooler initially, before I clicked on the website and saw the price, was hopefully that, that's $250, maybe this one will be about $300. And then this big boy over here, when I bought it, it was $450, and now they've reduced the price of this down to a new price of $400. So only a $50 difference between the 32 and the 48. Like I said, I know those are expensive. The 24 is the entry-level model into the Roadie series, the roto-molded coolers, and that's not that bad for what you're getting. You're getting a great cooler that's going to last a long time. $350 and $400 becomes pretty pricey, and I can tell you, only a $50 difference, and yes, you're getting a lot more capacity, which I'll go into in a second, but to me it's not worth it because of how tall this one is for, again, my applications. And I'll show you and shortly when we go up to test these things out in vehicles. The back of my truck has a bed cover on it, and this one will not fit under the bed cover, and I'm hoping this one does. I'm pretty sure it does, because that one does, and it's about the same size. But show you guys that in just a second. All right, here's all three coolers from the back, and obviously the 24 doesn't have the wheels and the handle, and this 32 and the 48 have the same exact handle and same exact wheels. So those tires, you guys know, are the run flats. They don't have air in them, they're solid, and these things roll great. They go over most terrain. I've never had any issues with it. They've been great, and it really takes away the issue of how much these things weigh when you're able to roll them around. So another thing you'll notice with the 24, and the main critique of the 24, is the lack of a drain plug. And you know what, honestly, when I first made my 24 review video, I was like, big deal, no drain plug. It's not that heavy of a cooler. You can pick it up and dump it out. But, you know, a drain plug would be nice. So I don't know why they took away the drain plug, but there's no drain plug on the 24. And thankfully, there's one, you can see it at the bottom, on the 32, and certainly one on the 48. So let me show you this drain plug in a little bit more detail. So there's the drain plug, and there's not much to say about this. These things seal really well. I've never had an issue with them, and I'm actually glad the 32 has one. So 24 does not, and again, one of the main complaints about that cooler, and I'm glad that the 32 has a drain plug. So all of the coolers have the grip, the non-slip feet on the bottom. There's 4 on each cooler, and those really do help keep your cooler in place. All right, I'm going to show you guys the insides of these coolers, and I know they're empty, and it's hard to kind of visualize the depth or the volume of them. But I did a initial review on this 24 where I filled it up with beer and ice, and this one held 12 beers across the bottom, 12 another layer, so 2 layers of 12, 24 beers, and I was still able to get 10 pounds of ice into this cooler. This 48 is a beast. I was able to get literally 48 beers in there and still cram it full of 24 pounds of ice. So 48 beers, 24 pounds of ice. You could obviously put a little, you probably could put 60 beers in there and put maybe 15 pounds of ice, and you still probably would have been fine. The 32, unknown beer capacity, unknown ice capacity, other than what they tell us on the website, but that's about to change here in just a minute. And the 24, again, is 24 beers, 10 pounds of ice, no problem. So we will test out the beer capacity of the 32 here in just a minute, but a few more things I wanted to point out to you. So one, and it's not a big deal because these coolers seal great, but this seal is a lot different looking than this one. This one is much more streamlined, much smaller, and it's the 48's the same way. And I never noticed that before until I was kind of just staring at them the other day with the lids up, and it's just got a different seal. And again, no issues with these things sealing properly. So I didn't even notice it on the 48, and I've had that one for a while, and no seal issues at all. All right, so let's talk about dry goods baskets. Not something I use because that takes away from your beer capacity, but it is something that a lot of people use to keep your sandwiches out of the soup that forms from a cooler. And Yeti has now made 2 different dry goods baskets. So there's this one, which kind of is a medium dry goods basket, and then the one in here, you can't see it because it's not there, and I don't know what I did with it, but it's somewhere in my workshop. But this is the large dry goods basket. So the large dry goods basket comes with the 48. This dry goods basket comes with the 32, and the 24 once again is kind of left out. No dry goods basket with the 24. Now, given the price point of the 24, $250 versus $350 versus $400, you can buy a Yeti dry goods basket that'll fit that cooler and this one for $25. The big one, the large dry goods basket, I think retails from Yeti for $30, and the big dry goods basket will not fit in these coolers, but this dry goods basket will fit in either cooler, and let me show you. So it fits in there perfectly, and that's pretty cool. So the other thing about the dry goods basket is you can fit 2 in here and 2 in there, and of course 2 of the larger ones in here. So that's pretty cool if you want an extra dry goods basket. It's not going to set you back too much. $25 for this one from Yeti, and I'm sure there's aftermarket stuff on Amazon that's even cheaper than that. Another thing you'll notice is the slot pre-formed into the cooler on the 48 and also the 32 for a divider. But once again, our 24 is left out. No pre-formed slot for a divider, so can't divide that one up. It's a smaller cooler anyway, so I guess you wouldn't want to. But that's a nice option. Not something I've ever used, but that is available as well. So one of the cool accessories for this Roadie 48 and the 60 is this cup holder. Now this thing's pretty stout, and you can see got a pretty good sized hand, and then there's the cup holder that'll hold all of the Yeti cups, and you got room in the center for your keys. These things are they have holes in the bottom, so for drainage. A really well thought out accessory, to be honest with you, and pretty heavy duty and pretty durable. And the coolest thing is it fits in the 3 slots there on the cooler, and you can still shut the lid, latch the lid down, and you're good to go. So for my applications, which I think you're kind of getting the idea what those are, that accessory was well worth it for me, and I've used it quite a bit, and I love it. And when you're done with your cooler, you just throw it in the cooler, and no problem at all. And it is a Yeti product. They do sell these on their website. And over here in our 32, you see it has the same 3 slots, and guess what? How about that? So my cup holder fits on the 32, and again, it fits with, whoop, wind just blew that shut. It fits with the, you know, latches latched, and just a really cool accessory. And I'm glad that I don't have to buy another one, because I probably would have, because it's one of my favorite accessories, and I'm so glad that it fits. Let's see if it fits the 24. So once again, the 24 is lacking. It doesn't even have the 3 little slots that are required to fit this accessory. So sorry 24, you're just striking out here against this 32. But yeah, it doesn't have it, so it's not an option to use on the 24. All right, so the next part of this video is going to be taking these things up to the vehicles. I've got a truck, my wife's got a car, stepdaughter has a car, and I want to see if that 32 will fit in the trunks of their car, and I want to see if it fits under the bed cover that I have on the back of my truck. So let's go do that, and then save the best for last. We're going to fill that 32 up with ice and beer and see what it holds. All right, so this is my truck. It's a 21 Chevrolet 2500. It's red. Cooler's red. Jeep's red. Maybe there's a red theme. I don't know. But anyways, it does have a hard cover on it. It's the back flip tonneau cover. And you can see the big boy here, the 48. There's no way that thing's fitting under there. 32, perfect. Look at that thing. And of course the 24 fits no problem, and that is awesome. This is going to make this 32 cooler a lot more useful for me for my particular application. All right, so this is my stepdaughter's car. It's I think a 2015 Ford Fusion, and it's got a big trunk, and I am struggling to get this thing in there. I've wiggled it around. I don't want to scratch the cooler because it's brand new, and I don't want to mess with her gasket right here. Her trunk lid gasket, but not showing it fitting in this car. Again, 2015 Ford Fusion. Can't believe that. I really thought it would go right in. All right, so this is my wife's car. It's a 2020 Lexus ES350, and this big boy's not going in there at all. I'm shocked. Both stepdaughters Ford Fusion, and now my wife's Lexus, and it won't go in. And I did wiggle it around, and I tried to maneuver it in. The only way you can get it in is to lay it down. So that's I'm kind of surprised by that. Now obviously it'll fit inside the car, either car, and obviously they'll fit inside my truck. But you know, if this 32 isn't fitting, then obviously the 48's not going to fit. Just for kicks, let's test out the 24 and see if it'll fit back here. All right, so you can see that the 24 fits no problem. So I guess just the extra bulk from the, you know, the handle and the wheels and the little bit extra height, it doesn't fit. I'm not saying it won't fit in other cars, but the 2 that I tested, the Roadie 32 doesn't fit. All right, so like I said, time for my favorite part of the day. And how does he just find his way down here? But there's Jake, and you have to excuse his heavy breathing. He gets hot this time of year. And he's, if you don't know Jake from my previous videos, Jake is 13, going on 14 in July, and it's May. So he's an old man, but he saw the beer and ice and the cooler, and he knows the drill, and he is waiting for a piece of ice because he's pretty warm. So let's fill this cooler up. I got some Miller Lite, 2 30-packs. They're not full, and I'm guessing this thing's going to take somewhere around 30 beers. And then I've got 3 7-pound bags of ice. Don't get me started. Bags of ice used to be 10 pounds, but another discussion for another day. So I've got 21 pounds of ice, and let's see how many beers this thing will hold by the layer. So I'll be right back. All right, so first layer complete, 17 beers. Did I count that right? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16, yeah, 17 beers, and no room for another one. On that first layer, you can see the indentation from the wheels. Takes up a little bit of your beer space, but that's a good trade-off for the mobility of this cooler. So let's see what the second layer takes. All right, so my second layer, I was able to cram 19 beers in there. So 19 plus 17, geez, I had to do math. What is that, 36 beers? So 36 beers. But now I will say that doesn't leave a lot of room for ice, and you can fill ice up in these coolers up to this ridge, not this one. This is where your dry basket goes. Our dry goods basket goes. But honestly, if you really are packing, you know, where you're going to be outside in the sun, you're going to be opening your cooler a lot, you might want to, I know it's a sin, but take some of those beers out in exchange for ice volume. So for my purposes, I'm going to leave them in there. So there's 36 beers in there, and that's quite a bit. And let's see how much ice I can fit with 32 beers. I'm sorry, 36 beers. All right, so there's only one 7-pound bag left, so obviously I got 14 pounds of ice in this thing. 36 beers and 14 pounds of ice. That's pretty impressive. Now this thing is not shutting all the way, but it will shortly as that ice starts to melt down. All right, so looky there at my patient buddy right there, Jake. And I know he wants a piece of ice, but look how patient he's being. He knows, like, I think he actually knows that I'm filming a video. But hey, Jake, what's this? Piece of ice? All right, buddy, look at that tail. There you go. Who doesn't enjoy that sound? A happy dog crunching some ice. You already ate that? He's a pig. You want another piece? There you go, buddy.